guys, this is my third attempt at filming this video, so I'm gonna get it right this time and I'm gonna make it succinct and it's gonna be awesome. But the first thing I'm gonna do is ask for your good vibes. Good vibes only for this video, and here's why. I am not an expert on the subject of ingredients. I know a lot of you might think that I am because I talk about them a lot. I really think they're important. I think it's important to understand ingredients, but the truth is I have no formal training on the subject. I read things on the internet, I have a great memory, and I write a lot of things down. The other thing I want to make sure that I do with this video is connect you with resources that will help you understand ingredients. The Mestiza Muse on Instagram, absolutely one of my favorite resources. Rockin' Curl's blog, she's got a great list of ingredients. The Sciencey Hair blog, I've talked about it so many times before. Wendy is a scientist by trade. She's also a hair scientist by hobby, and she's amazing. Her blog is amazing. She also runs the Goose Footprints hair analysis shop. She's wonderful. And by the way, there's another hair analysis shop that's just opened up that I've learned about, so I'll be talking more about that later, so stay tuned. But basically, I want to make sure that this video is an introduction to you for some of the basic categories of ingredients you need to think about when you're choosing products for your hair, but also I want to make sure I connect you with resources that will be helpful to you. So be sure to check the description box down below for lots of hyperlinks to resources that you need to understand ingredients. This is also a very scary introduction for you on exactly how my brain works, and I will give you a hint, it's not in a linear fashion. I'm going to try my very best to break this down for you into 5 basic categories of the way I think about ingredients and how I decipher them on the back of the bottle. We're looking at surfactants first. Those are what cleanse your hair. Then we're going to be looking at silicones and ingredients that are designed to fight frizz or moisturize your hair. Third, we're going to be looking at proteins. And fourth, that's really hard to do, we're going to be talking about hold ingredients. And fifth, we're going to be talking just a little bit about preservatives, just because I think they're really, really important. Before we go any further, I hope that you guys are enjoying the video content that I am bringing to you so far this fall. I am trying to churn out as much content as I can before I start cosmetology school in January. I am so excited to share this with you. I know I haven't talked about it on my YouTube channel at all. I've talked about it a little bit on Instagram, but yes, I am starting a new chapter of my life. I am starting cosmetology school at the Paul Mitchell School, and I could not be more excited and terrified at the same time. So if you've just stopped by to see what's going on, I hope you will subscribe so that you can be notified when I put out new videos, and I've got lots of new stuff coming. Now let's talk about what we're here to talk about. Ingredients. First up, surfactants. Surfactants are so important for your hair. They clean it. They get the gunk off. Hard water deposits, conditioning agent deposits, polyquaternium, silicones, all that stuff need to be removed. Sodium lauryl sulfate is the thing that you're told in the Curly Girl method. Balm Massey, which I love. I love that book. I recommend everybody start with that. And if you're new to the Curly Girl method, please watch my video. Get up here for you. It's my CG Quick Start Guide to help you get started. It's kind of a synopsis of Curly Girl, the handbook by Balm Massey. If you haven't read that book, I highly recommend you check it out. I have it in my Amazon shop if that's of any help to you. You can get it on Amazon. I think it's also free on the Kindle. But sodium lauryl sulfate is a really important ingredient. I like to use this just once a month. I've had this for about 2 years now, and this is all I've used so far. Granted, sometimes I use other clarifying shampoos, but this one is my favorite for 2 reasons. The first is it contains sodium lauryl sulfate as the second ingredient. That's the surfactant that strips everything off my hair except hard water deposits. That's where tetrasodium EDTA comes in handy. Now, anytime you see EDTA on a shampoo label, you will know that that is a chelating ingredient. And chelating just means that it removes metallic deposits from your hair. That's hard water buildup. It's really important. 60% of the US at least deals with hard water. So highly likely that that's an issue of yours. So I recommend a shampoo with EDTA in it to remove hard water deposits. One thing I want to add about this is that sodium lauryl sulfate is the lead surfactant in shampoo products that are sulfate based. Sodium lauryl sulfate is the surfactant you'll see in dish soap. It's much more stripping than sodium lauryl sulfate, like to an nth degree. So please don't use dish soap on your hair. Just invest $2.99 in a bottle of Suave Daily Clarifying shampoo. I'm going to talk about just a couple of other shampoos to give you an idea of what other surfactants look like. So this is the Devacurl Low Poo Delight. I've talked about this in at least 1 or 2 other videos. Its surfactants contain cocamidopropyl betaine and cocoa betaine. So those are the two surfactants. They're at the top of the list. Those are great ingredients. They're gentle surfactants. They do the job. This is a great shampoo for me to use on probably every wash day basis, as is the Devacurl Clarifying shampoo. Now this is a great cleansing shampoo. I wish that it wasn't named clarifying shampoo because it doesn't even compare to something like this. One of the things to take into consideration when you're looking at a sulfate-free shampoo is how many gentle surfactants are there all in a row, or at least all in the formula. Usually they're right up front. So when I look at the ingredients, I see sodium lauryl methyl isethionate, decyl glucoside, sodium cocoyl isethionate, and I'm not sure about this one, but disodium cocoa amphodiacetate. So you have at least 3 mild surfactants all in a row. But if I look at the rest of the ingredients, I see a lot of oils. Nothing wrong with that, but that's immediately putting something back on my hair after I've cleansed it. So for me, this is not a true clarifying shampoo. It also doesn't contain EDTA, so this isn't going to remove those hard water deposits. The Devacurl Low Poo Delight contains cocamide propyl betaine and cocoa betaine within the top 5 ingredients. I know it's going to do a great job cleaning my hair because those 2 surfactants are gentle, but they are a little bit more cleansing than just decyl glucoside alone, which is what the Devacurl Moisturizing shampoo contains. The second ingredient is decyl glucoside, which is great, but then that's followed closely by safflower oil. So I'm dumping a load of safflower oil on my hair right after I've cleansed it with the decyl glucoside. This is not a truly cleansing shampoo. If you're someone with dry hair or with high porosity hair, this is gonna be a great shampoo for you, but I would put it more in the co-wash category. If you're not familiar with co-washing just means using a conditioner to wash your hair. Now you could use a thin conditioner to do that, or you could use something like this as I Am Coconut Cowash, which I've talked about in a number of videos before. This contains cetrimonium chloride as its 3rd ingredient, and that's gonna be a very mild surfactant that will help to remove a little bit more debris than just a conditioner alone. So I would put these in the same category in terms of cleansing, but you wouldn't know that unless you really looked at the overall formulation, which is safflower oil right after decyl glucoside. That tells you a lot about what this formula is going to be like. For this one, there's lots of moisturizing ingredients, but cetrimonium chloride stands out to me as the surfactant, which is what makes it different. One thing about cetrimonium chloride, and this is why it took me several times to make this video, is that every ingredient does multiple things. They all contribute a number of different things to the overall formulation of a product. So cetrimonium chloride is not just a mild surfactant, it's also an emulsifier. It's also a mild conditioning agent. So how can an ingredient be both a conditioning agent and a surfactant? I don't know the answer to that question. So if you do, please put it down in the comments below because I would love to know. So that's the Coconut Cowash. It's outstanding. Make sure when you use a co-wash though that you do scrub your scalp with your fingers with the product on and as you're rinsing it off. You can also use this as a conditioner, but I personally don't find it very conditioning, probably because of the cetrimonium chloride. There are many other mild surfactants out there. Decyl polyglucose is one that immediately comes to mind. This is where I really want you guys to look to the resources that are in my description box below. And if you're not yet subscribed to the School of Google like I am, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and hit up Google for all of your surfactant questions, and I'm sure you will get them more than answered. All right, moving right along, I'm gonna talk about ingredients that are designed to fight frizz and moisturize your hair. So the first of the things I'm gonna talk about are silicones. So silicones were designed a long time ago to fight frizz. Here's an easy way to identify them on the back of the bottle. They end in cone, C-O-N-E, Zane, X-A-N-E, or conol, C-O-N-O-L, or C-O-N-A-L. This is the Apogee 2-step protein treatment. A lot of people following the Curly Girl method will use this regardless of the fact that it contains trimethylsiloxyamidimethicone. Now, I don't think amidimethicone is the worst silicone in the world, and here's the thing, not all silicones are created equal. For example, amidimethicone is one, if I understand correctly, that really targets damaged areas of your hair. So from what I've read, damaged areas of your hair have a negative charge. Amidimethicone is attracted to that, so it fills in those gaps in the hair, but it doesn't coat the rest of your hair shaft and it doesn't build up on itself. So amidimethicone, in my book of silicones, is kind of a good guy. Like, I kind of dig on it sometimes. Dimethicone, typically not. Something like in this Evolve H 5-in-1 styling lotion, it contains cyclomethaconol. Then there's also cyclopentasiloxane, which is an evaporating silicone. For some wavies that are high porosity or curlies that are high porosity, this might be a great option for you because it will calm frizz and help keep your moisture intact. But I've also heard the residue that it leaves behind when it's done evaporating isn't so great. I wish that I knew more about them, but suffice to say, that's how you read silicones on a bottle. And just know that not all silicones are exactly the same. One thing I do want to mention about silicones is that if you find a silicone in a product, but you notice that included right before it within the commas of the ingredient is PEG or PPG. So this Dippity Girls with Curls Curl Defining Cream contains PEG/PPG 25-25 dimethicone. That PPG and PEG, if you see one or the other or both, PEG and or PPG, that just means that that particular silicone is water soluble, and that makes the product Curly Girl friendly, assuming that it doesn't have any other non-Curly Girl friendly ingredients like drying alcohols or waxes that are non-water soluble. Again, refer to the Rockin' Curls ingredients list in my description box below. It's such an outstanding list that shows you products that are Curly Girl friendly and products to avoid. In that same school of products are polyquaterniums. So polyquaterniums are also considered microplastics, just like silicones, but they were not called out specifically in Lorraine Massey's Curly Girl Method handbook as being an off-limits product. I've heard they're also difficult to remove, which is where that Suave Daily Clarifying shampoo comes in. But since I clarify once a month, I haven't had any problems with them. I know they can build up, but they also do great things for your hair. They can enhance curl, such as the Polyquaternium 69 found in Jessicurl Spiralicious and in the Zerran Volumizing Mousse. I love both of these products because Polyquaternium 69 is the second ingredient in both. Very curl enhancing, very frizz fighting. I just absolutely adore it. I think it's fantastic. But there are a lot of other polyquaterniums out there. There's Polyquaternium 72, Polyquaternium 10, there's Polyquaternium 4 that's included in the Aussie Instant Freeze Gel, which I'll talk more about in another video. So they're out there to fight frizz, to seal in moisture, enhance curl. You just have to figure out which ones work best for you, and the only way you can do that is through trial and error. Now, one ingredient I'll tell you about that is a frizz fighter is Brassica Italica seed oil, and that is broccoli seed oil. You can find that in the Raw Curls Anti-Frizz Spray, which has been one of my very favorite refreshing sprays since the beginning of my curly hair journey, and it mimics the effects of silicone. It coats the hair, it calms frizz, it adds a little bit of weight to the hair shaft so that it doesn't frizz up quite so much, and bonus, it's totally water soluble, which makes it Curly Girl friendly. The last thing I want to discuss in the moisturizing ingredients category is alcohols. So not all alcohols are bad alcohols or drying alcohols. Isopropyl alcohol is a drying alcohol you want to avoid at any cost, but cetearyl alcohol, included in this Bounce Curl Conditioner, stearyl alcohol, and cetyl alcohol are all three moisturizing alcohols. They are something you want to include on your hair. They're great moisturizers. They really help to seal in hydration to your hair shaft. Unlike silicones, they are completely water soluble, but they can build up over time because they do attach themselves so tightly to your hair shaft. So again, that's where clarifying on a monthly-ish basis, whatever works for you, comes in handy. And the last ingredient I want to talk about that's a frizz fighter is hydrolyzed wheat. I'm going to use this as my segue to talk about protein next. So hydrolyzed wheat protein is a film-forming humectant, which means that it does what it sounds like. It forms a film on your hair to block humidity and keep moisture in your hair, but it's also a protein, so it lends structure and rigidity and strength to your hair. But protein, like any protein, can build up in time, and when it does build up on your hair because it attaches so tightly to your hair shaft, again, that's where clarifying comes in handy. Aloe is also a film-forming humectant that does a great job blocking humidity and helping your hair retain moisture. Okay, so that's frizz-fighting ingredients and conditioning ingredients. Let's move on to protein. Proteins are my bread and butter. The easiest way to identify proteins in an ingredient list are to look for two words: hydrolyzed or protein. If you see those two, you can almost always guarantee that it's a protein. Hydrolyzed just means something larger broken down into something smaller, broken down into smaller pieces. That almost always has to be done with proteins. Now, the other way I think about proteins is that basically, I said this before, if I can eat it, it's probably a protein. Things that really sound like you could make a meal out of them, like hydrolyzed corn, hydrolyzed soy, hydrolyzed quinoa, hydrolyzed wheat. So when you see collagen, keratin, amino acids, even the herbal or botanical type ingredients like lavender and grapefruit, all those things add a small amount of protein. Not enough to really matter. I try to really get my protein fix in once a month with a product I've referred to before, Curl Junkies Repair Me. I love this because it relies heavily on hydrolyzed keratin protein and hydrolyzed amino acids. It's really important to keep molecular size of proteins in mind when you're selecting a product because size matters. I cannot say that and be serious. So raunchy. Now, small molecule proteins can benefit just about every hair type, coarse or fine. But the smallest molecule proteins, as far as I understand it, are hydrolyzed keratin, hydrolyzed collagen, silk amino acids, and hydrolyzed silk. Those four are the very smallest, and they can benefit all hair types. You get into the larger molecule proteins when you look at hydrolyzed corn, hydrolyzed soy, hydrolyzed quinoa, hydrolyzed wheat. Those are really big molecules, and so they sit on top of your hair. They add a lot more curl enhancement, they add a lot more rigidity, a lot more stiffness, a lot more strength to your hair, but they can also build up a lot faster. For example, the Boucleme Light Cream Gel contains hydrolyzed wheat protein and hydrolyzed oat protein. Yes, those are both large molecule proteins, but that's also really well balanced with glycerin, which is going to draw moisture to my hair, hydrolyzed jojoba esters in the top of the ingredients list, which is very moisturizing. And then you've got virgin black cumin oil and a couple of other oils in this product. It's really going to help moisturize your hair in addition to give it the structure that it needs with that protein. So look for balanced products. Look for oils when you're looking at the protein load of a product. Proteins are part of what give a product its hold. So I'm going to talk about hold next. So definitely, it's hard to find a protein-free gel that's really good out there. This is one. Here's another. Just so you know, this is the Boucleme gel and this is Jessicurl Spiralicious. It's hard to find a protein-free gel because protein lends so much structure and rigidity to hair that a lot of gels rely on protein for its hold. However, there are other ingredients you should look for when considering the hold of a product. For example, PVP is the big mama of all hold ingredients. The BioSilk Rock Hard Gelée Styling Gel is a great gel. It's not protein free. It does contain hydrolyzed silk, but that's the only protein in this product. This really relies on PVP as its #1 hold ingredient, and that's going to give you a really solid cast. It's going to give you hold for days. Another hold ingredient you'll want to look for is VPVA copolymer. Another one you can look for is maltodextrin VP copolymer. There's also VP acrylates copolymer. Anytime you see copolymer, you can be guaranteed that that is a hold related ingredient. And if you don't see anything like that in your list of ingredients, it could just be something along the lines of xanthan gum that lends your hair enough thickness that it gives it some hold. For example, in this Boucleme gel, where xanthan gum is the third ingredient. That covers my hold ingredient section. Let's move on to preservatives. Preservatives have gotten such a bad rap in the last couple of years, and it makes me really sad because, in my opinion, putting a product on your body and in your hair that's going to be absorbed, at least to some extent, by your skin, should be bacteria and mold free. It's just an idea. I just think it's a good one. We've been really spoiled in recent years by parabens. Methylparaben, propylparaben, and butylparaben are among a class of preservatives called parabens that have gotten a rap for being linked to cancer. It's very unfortunate. It's very sad. I don't know if it's 100% true or not. I do try to avoid them myself in a lot of products, but they lend products decades of shelf life, which is a great thing for the manufacturer and is a safe thing for the consumer. So I think you just have to weigh the pros and cons when it comes to parabens. They are a personal choice. They won't have any impact on your hair one way or the other. They're just a personal choice, and that's kind of what that comes down to. I happen to be very fond of them in my KMS Curl Up Balm, which hasn't been manufactured in at least 3 years. This bottle's probably 5 to 10 years old, and it's going to be good for at least another few years for me because of the fact that it contains methylparaben, and that makes me happy. In recent years, manufacturers have come up with other preservatives that are designed to be safer but still do the job. Phenoxyethanol is one good one to know about. You'll see that in a lot of products. Some people say it's not clean, some people say it's fine, but it's basically the replacement for paraben. It's a broad spectrum preservative, which means it's going to block against a lot of potentially harmful bacteria and mold growth. In the Boucleme gel, We have dihydroacetic acid as the 5th ingredient. Seeing it at the top of an ingredients list tells me that it's got a lot of work to do because there are a lot of things in this particular formula that could go rancid. And this is a really important thing to note. On the back of a lot of bottles now, and not all of them, and it's not required, I wish that it was though, you might see a little icon that looks like a little jar with its lid open, and it might have 6M, 12M, 24M, 36M. That tells you how many months that product is good from the time you open it. So please use your noggin, and when you open a product, use your Sharpie to write the month and year that you open that product. So when you buy them, use them. Ceramidopropyl dimethylamine is another preservative that I've seen being used. That's in the Bounce Curl Cream Conditioner. But there are a lot of other preservatives in both of these products that are completely natural. Grapefruit, you'll see a lot of citrus peel oil. Radish, rosemary, aspen bark, those are all very mild preservatives. They're not broad spectrum preservatives, so they will lengthen the shelf life of a product, but not by more than a year at most. Some of these products may even be best refrigerated, and you can always prolong the shelf life of a product by refrigerating it. I wish that I knew everything about preservatives that there is to know, but I am not a DIY person. I don't make products on my own. I just enjoy other wonderful fragranced products that other manufacturers make. I do really firmly believe that preservatives are one of the most important things that you can have in your hair products. So if you're buying something that says preservative free, please make sure you keep that in the refrigerator or use it up very, very quickly because I really want you to be safe. Getting off my preservative soapbox, that's all I have to say about preservatives. If you have anything to add, please do so in my comment section below. Hey friends, that is my super quick dive into understanding ingredients and understanding the weird ways that my brain works when I look at the list of ingredients on the back of a bottle. That's it from me. Thank you so much for joining me today to talk about ingredients. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have questions, comments, anything to add, please do so in the comment section below and I will get back with you as soon as I can. Also, please be sure to leverage those resources that I included in my description box. I hope to see you around here again very, very soon. Have a happy curl day and I'll talk with you later. Bye.